Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the Fool's Journey. It is Monday once again. Today is December 12th.
12-12.
And here we are, 12-12.
Yeah.
The magic number.
12-12-22. Wow. What are we doing today? The devil card.
We are doing the devil card for sure.
We are indeed. As a matter of fact, I sort of really considered, it's been such an intense, wild ride here the last couple months that I seriously considered like holding off on the devil card and the tower card until after the first of the year and just doing some angel cards and diving into that because they're all like warm, not well compared to the devil card and the tower, really warm and fuzzy.
trying to keep the holidays all warm and fuzzy.
Well, it's like nobody the lesson there. It's not just that those cards suck. Well, the devil card doesn't really suck. The devil card, just because it's attached to that name, has a lot of scary connotations that don't really exist. But because of that, it carries a woo about it. The tower card, though, is a pretty gnarly card, I mean, if you're the tower, you're totally getting ready to have your entire, world obliterated. If you're the lightning, it's a really great card.
Right.
So it just depends on which part for that.
So, well, I think
anyway, I was hoping maybe we could get some feedback tonight on whether anybody how people feel about maybe forging ahead through all those cards. I debated not doing the devil tonight and diving into it, but I say fuck it, let's go do it. Let's deal with it. And I had a really amazing week last week, and coming off the art card, wow, super crazy. I've got a couple of crazy stories, and we did the banishing last week at the Goddess Gathering. Transformative experience for me in so many ways. And then I spent the entire weekend at my first festival, man, reading cards for people at this place called Fusion Fest.
awesome.
Yeah.
How did that go?
It went terrific. I had the best fucking time, man. What was really curious is the first day on Saturday, kind of opened early in the day, and people were cruising around, and there was a lot of stuff going on, typical festival stuff, but cool stuff, live artists and fire guys and a bunch of things like that. And so it was just a really fun, and the weather was beautiful. It was just a fantastic day. And picking up the readings just fell off during the day. There wasn't anybody really coming up. There was a lot of people coming and talking about readings, but nobody was really signing up. So then I saw a bunch of people kind of circling around late. And the closer it got to the thing kind of closing, the more people just sort of showing up and kind of circling around. Oh, you're still available for a reading? So I did most of my readings really super late at night because everybody wanted more privacy. So that was a good learning experience. It was a great new learning experience. I have to say my friend Leah busted it out and really showed me the ropes on what to do. She was there with me, and it was just a really super cool ride all the way around. And I continued to just meet amazing, astounding people. And the fact that I was doing that during the week for art, I thought was particularly crazy too. Yeah.
Totally. And you know what, I feel like kind of we were talking about it as far as you having the trepidation of getting into these dark cards. I think we were talking about the idea of you have to really kind of do that shadow work, right, to move forward.
I know, but at the same time, it's good to be full strength and prepared to do it. And the prudent person, when they go, maybe I need just one more day.
Mhm.
If it's about like getting up to full strength. And to be honest with you, man, since we did the show last Monday, which as usual was its really intense magical event kind of thing, which I pour a lot of energy into it. The next day, I kind of really feel it. So then Wednesday, I went down, did physical therapy, all this stuff. Boom, we're into the goddess gathering thing and did the banishing. Banishing was one of the most intense magical things I've ever done, ever in my entire life.
Tell me about
it
it.
was
Tell me, how did it
okay.
go? What would it
Well,
involve?
okay. So I showed up, and my usual thing with that is to the whole point of this was after all the readings I did at the previous gathering, what was coming through was all these amazing, powerful women, but they all had one thing in common. There was shit they were afraid of moving forward, change, unknown, whatever. Fear takes so many different forms, but what every one of them needed was fuck fear, fuck fear. And take it and face it and do something with it, and right in the face of it. So the whole gig to this was at the full moon, which is the time you would start a waning moon, right? And you would start a program to push something away. We were doing a banishing to push fear away and to get everybody ready for the upcoming solstice ceremony, which will be a year-end blessing and a really uplifting, cool thing. So that's happening on the new moon, which is when you want to plant something for it to begin growing. So they're kind of a two-part shtick there. So I had everybody show up, and I've done. I wanted to do a gathering energy thing, and since nobody's really practiced doing that, what's a quick way to do that? Well, a primal scream is amazing for doing that. It's amazing not only for just gathering the energy, but also releasing stuff. And if you're afraid to let go, and you're afraid to really express yourself, and you haven't been heard, and you feel really shut in, to just reach down to your toes and go, It's a liberating experience on 1,000 levels, right?
Totally.
So I had a group of about, I think it was about 30 people, and we all made a big circle. I got a little bit of a curveball in that I had I had Leah taking east, and then I had 3 other people taking the other corners, and I was going to kind of spread stuff out through that so it didn't get really super intense. But for whatever reason, 3 of them were not able to make it. So I wasn't going to dump all the rest of that just on Leah, so I decided to take it on myself. So I'm in the middle of the circle, and I usually ask for the first, it's permission to suck. First time really awful, second time kind of good, third time really, yeah. So, and you usually have to kind of dig to get them to really open up and let it fly, right? So I kind of gave them the shtick on why we were doing it, and here's what we were going to accomplish, and I asked for the first primal scream, and they lit the sky up, dude. The astral heard this thing. I was like, oh my God, I was so blown away. It was like a trip. I was like, okay, well, normally we get 3 in here, so because you guys did so good on that, let's all do it again louder. Man, by the time it was crackling inside the circles, really amazing. So then the next thing was a fear banishing, and the ritual line for that was, I banish fear in all its forms from every aspect of my life. And I went around the whole circle and did a modified version of the banishing ritual of the pentagram. Super simple, dogma free, energy directed, works every time. So we get through doing the whole thing. Last thing on that is to the sky, do up to the top, and you do the last of that, and you make the counterclockwise spiral, tightening, boom, and everybody right as I released went, yeah! Dude, over the top crazy. So then that lit everybody up. I had my my Tibetan bowl with me, and I had programmed that thing to I was going to do some individual work on people and do some chakra stuff. So I was able to see everybody's light. See, this is the thing. I've never had a thing where I used every single thing I've ever studied all at one time, instantly, without any time to think about it. So I
Mm-hmm.
began at one part in the circle, and I'm like looking at everybody's light. I decide what to do. Bam, bam, bam. I'm banging the thing, and while I'm going around the circle. I'm like astounded. I'm like really kind of reaching some people and like in this really deep way, and I'm watching their light change, and I'm like, oh my God, this is really intense. So we get around, it's like that was like doing instantly, one right after another, 30 individual readings, energy readings, and being able to do, and not one of those people did I deal with the bowl in the same way.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew what to do without really
Right.
knowing what to do. It was
Right.
say, okay, so I was thinking about this earlier today. I was thinking about that very thing. And for me, the definition of art is like, or when you realize you've become an artist, is when you have practiced your technique to the point that you don't have to think about the technique anymore. And all you're thinking about is either the music or the art or the magic. And whatever skill you have, just like the muscles in your mouth. You know, you want to make a word, you don't think about those, you just make those.
Right.
And
Right.
that's what happened with all of those. So I realized I wound up feeling like I actually achieved a level of art with my
You
magic.
did. You absolutely did. And I'm
First
just
time ever. First
I'm
time ever.
listening to you, and I'm like, there's none of this surprised me. This is why I bill you as a mystical shaman. You truly are. I mean, that's who you are. You know, it's funny. I was watching. I'm just going through some stuff. I had a problem with the hard drive. This past week, or 2 weeks, for about 2 weeks, I couldn't get this thing to mount at all, and
No kids.
it
Sorry.
was yeah, everybody's here. What's up, JLo? What's up, Jilly? I couldn't get this hard drive to mount, and it was the hard drive that I bring with me everywhere. It had everything on it, and I was like, oh shit, I'm fucked. And so I kept trying to kind of get it mounted and then like back stuff up off of it slowly but surely, and it wasn't mounting for like a week. And
Oh God, I hate that feeling.
I spoke to Jilly. I was on the phone with Jilly. I'm like, hey, can I ask you a favor? I was like, can you just give me a little of your magic and like get this hard drive to mount? And no joke, like as we were texting, it mounted, and I was like, holy fuck. And I was able to back up a lot of it, but then I had to go home, so I had to shut it off. And the next day I was like, hey, can you do that again? And she's like, she tried, it wouldn't mount, and she's like, I think you're supposed to do it. So you know, it took me a day or two, but
I won't say anything about that. Maybe she's
I
right.
I finally got it to mount. I worked on it, and I finally got it to mount, and I've now successfully backed everything up off of it. So I'm excited about that. I did the job I was supposed to. And The other thing is, I want to just kind of catch up because you had so much to say, which is great. I'm so excited about that. But I did a little bit of a poll for myself right before the show, and it was pretty significant to what you were talking about, I think, and to kind of where we are and what you were saying about how we're kind of going through the fool's journey as we go through it. And This is what I pulled.
The Four of Swords, yeah.
And I went and I looked it up and I did an interpretation of what it was talking about, and then it wasn't on purpose, but as I pulled the card, this one fell out.
You know, those are always really significant, dude.
Yeah,
That's lust.
yeah,
That's the primal fire, man. That's the energy you need.
yeah. So for me, my interpretation of my reading, the Four of Swords was kind of saying like, "Hey, man, take a breath, take a step back for a second, and get ready." You know what I mean? To step into your power and
Well, that the original Rider Waite image of that card is like a knight laying down on a slab, right? He's up on a raised slab, and the swords are kind of up on the wall, put around him. There's one laying next to him, but it's definitely just he's not dead. He's just laying there, and the point of that particular version of that is recuperating after a really intense battle, man. After you've been through it, man, you know, it's time to take a rest, which is kind of where I'm at, right? Even as we speak, you know.
Yeah,
Tomorrow,
yeah.
I'm chilling the fuck out.
Totally. No, and then I thought it was also significant that passion came out of the deck as well, because I feel like that's what's next, is really stepping into that passion. And speaking about that, I'm excited because I've actually been shooting some more, getting back into creating, talking to a friend about getting back into a band, which we were talking about. So all of that stuff is kind of happening and manifesting. I'm excited about that. But my girlfriend Janice has been kind of wanting to shoot with me, and she had a suggestion. I have this little kind of illuminated moon. It's like a 3D printed moon, and it lights up from inside, and it's kind of cool little light that I use sometimes for shooting with. And she said, what if you were to project like the universe on me, like a galaxy on me, and I'm holding the moon. And so I did a shot of her like that. Hold on, let me see if I can get to that. Oh yeah, here it is. So I did a shot of her just kind of in this, meditation pose, holding the moon, having it light up her face. She's looking at it, but that turned into, of course, some human dollar imagery, which was this image right here.
Super cool.
Which I'm kind
They
of
look like
excited
angels, shit.
about. Yeah. So I feel like my artwork is evolving a bit. I'm getting back into actually creating. You know what I mean? Like, instead of working hard to pay the rent, I'm actually working to pay the rent up here, pay the rent in here. So that's it. I was excited about that. Jilly said her devil fell out today, so I guess she was pulling some cards and she got the devil. But the devil is what we're talking about today. And
let's before we start discussing the card itself, let's take a look at the video for the card.
All right. I was hoping you were going to say that, Brian. I was just going to
Have you watched it yet?
Oh yeah, I was just going to start the show with the video.
No, that would have been great.
Yeah. All right, but here we go. This is a new wonderful part of the show that I love. Brian's original videos that kind of go through some of the cards, and here we go with today's card, the devil.
Welcome to the party. Welcome. Enjoy your stay. May you hurted me before. I'm just a little devil. Got fire in my eyes. I'm just a little devil. Got fire in my surprise. A little devil. Make you be bad. A little devil. Make you be bad. A little devil. I'm not so bad. I can make you be bad. She's a little devil. Everything that you desire, every lust you acquire, I'll make you a slave to everything you love. Just a little devil. Ambition. I know you want it. Unscrupulous ambition. I know you want it. 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 look at my ambition. I'm just a little devil. Like to make you be bad. Make you be bad. Make you be bad. I'm just a little devil. Cause you like to be bad. Bad, bad, bad. A little devil. A little devil.
I should have figured.
A little devil. The shadow under your bed. The voice inside your head that makes you see red. Your ambition with the lust for fame. Drive my desire with a taste for pain. Pain, pain, pain. I'll make you feel good. I'll make you feel good. I'll make you feel good. You can't see no more. No more. No more. A little devil. A little devil. I'm just a little devil. I'm not so bad.
As always, understated.
Oh, man.
Crazy,
It's
right?
so great. I feel so cool that we're like giving this art a platform and like bringing it to life again. Like I know it's been on your YouTube channel, the Wizard of Odd YouTube channel.
Yeah,
but,
nobody's really seen it.
bringing it to new life. I love it.
Yeah,
it's
it's
awesome.
really fun. You know,
Awesome.
every time I look at those, I just think about those were none of those were done with actual video. All those were still frames
It's amazing,
glued
man.
together.
Really.
It's like, oh my goodness.
Really, it's amazing. And actually, you know what? I started to take some of my artwork again, back to old school. Hold on, let's see if I have this even up on my desktop. I think I do. I was just playing with this today. So that image that I just showed, let me see, where is it? Is it this one? Oh, man, I don't even know which one it is now.
Well, okay.
I think it's this. So yeah, so I took that and I did it by hand. I wasn't using any kind of like kaleidoscope filters. I was just kind of animating it by hand. You know what I mean? And I want to I want to work with you on some audio sound to it. You know what I mean? And really get these animations going. I feel something new is happening with this.
Yeah.
This new evolution, happening with my artwork. So yeah.
So let's dive into the card.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's bring it up. There it is, the devil.
Yeah, can we blow that up and focus on the lower third of the card, please?
We can, absolutely. And let's put us on the side here.
Yeah, so this is all about this energy sort of field. Can we scroll down just a little bit? Is that possible? Not, or can we like
scroll down?
There we go. Okay, yeah. See this kind of. All right, go back up. I'm sorry, man. Just a little bit.
Right. No
Perfect.
problem.
Right there. See the way it creates this kind of person shape in there in the center of that. What the devil is about is not some outside demon, not the personification of Satan and the evil. It's the shadow side in all of us, And I think, I know people forget that inside all of us is every possibility. Our very light is a piece of God. The light that is our essence and actual life is a piece of God. Yeah. And within that frame and that structure there's every evil to the most evil thing possible, and every goodness and purity to the most amazing of purities, and everything in between. And where that goes is totally your choice and
Right.
the where you focus that and where you channel the energy and what you bring to you and then exude out. So everything about the devil is about making you a slave to the sensory, material, carnal aspects of the world. Like, this is where addiction lives in a big way. In the original Rider-Waite version of this, it's a classic, devil with the wings sitting up on a big pole, right? And he's holding the chains. I've brought this up before. And the chains go down to these a naked man and woman who look like they're enslaved, but the collars on them are huge, and you realize that while it does look like they're enslaved, they are enslaved, but they've chosen to be. And at any time, they could take the collar off and stop. But for whatever reason, the sensual gratification of the world has now become their god, and they don't move far forward past that. And actually, as you look at the kind of descriptions of what like the religions call the ultimate evil, and there's so many different forms of that, not just the Judeo-Christian Satan thing, but Ahriman and a million different ones. It's all about addressing that darkness and making those choices that lead you into darkness instead of evolving your light and closing and compacting your light down to nothing and having that consumed. So that's what that little that guy represents us. And that little head on him and the kind of arms. And as you scroll up, it looks like he's being kind of surrounded by the larger image, with the horns and the kind of wings and the energy. And if you look really closely, there's kind of a gold crown at the top of that with a skull sort of in the top of that and it's that surrendering your life force and surrendering your future and your ability to make choices to your own devils, and as magical people, but also just as human beings, one of the best things that we could do is our shadow work. It's the hard stuff to do, but it's the place where real change happens. And it's also the place where you get information and explanations about why you're acting so stupid. So
Yeah, absolutely. So Trish just popped in. She said she's driving. She's leaving Leah's, but she's listening.
Awesome.
What's up, Trish? Thanks for being here. We've
Yeah,
talked
go ahead.
about it before, but like, these images and looking at these images, you can do it for hours. You don't need to be on any sort of psychedelics to really see the layers.
They're a trip all on their own. That's the truth.
But like, so you were talking about. I didn't look down here in the bottom originally. I mean, I think I saw this crown with the skull for sure. And then so you said see this figure down at the bottom. So I see almost like this samurai figure. Here's the head right here.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
here's the shoulders.
Exactly. That's
okay.
exactly what I was. Yeah.
So,
That's
so I
it.
don't know if you see this, but right above it, I see this face right here with a white beard and his arms outstretched over here, like right behind the guy, just kind of like embracing him, or just he's there. He's just like he's just a part of him. It's just a duality. I think. I don't know what it is I'm seeing.
For me, my shadow work that I did through that and embracing that, we're going to talk about the Red Book and that journey in just a second. But where that came to me, or what came out of that for me, was my key and like unlocking these secret places of myself that had held me in control without me really realizing that. And if you look right underneath the crown, there's that kind of, it looks like a keyhole. And that's what that represents to me. Like just under that, it's unlocking that, and then that blows up out to, a higher elevated level, and where you take that learning, and go from
Such
there.
a beautiful card.
Thanks.
Yeah, man. Amazing. Amazing.
So the Red Book. Have you ever heard of that by any
No,
chance?
what
It's
is
by
that?
okay,
Let
Carl Jung.
me write this
Um,
down. Hold on.
yeah, Carl Jung. He's one of the founders of the school of modern
Yep,
philosophy.
yep.
And he was at the forefront of a lot of that stuff for a long time. And during that time, for about 3 years, he disappeared. And not many people know, but Carl Jung became an occultist, like a pretty serious one. And one of his journeys was to go find his deepest shadow side. So he constructed a year-long step-by-step journey to go find all the archetypes that he had created in his shadow that were now influencing his life. And he went through, and he was born Catholic and, Jung's time, and so a lot of his stuff and his early programming that you take from childhood and is still sitting down there acting, had a lot of that to do with it. The reason I bring that up tonight too is because one of the archetypes that he went and spent time with is he went and spent time with his version of the devil, and he talked to it, and he made peace, and he stood there fearless to talk. See, that's the other thing about that. You realize that all that shit down there gets power from your fear. It doesn't have any power of its own. It's all illusion. Right. It's illusion. It's illusion. And that's the devil card too. It's fucking illusion. It's making you feel afraid. It's making you feel like you need the next hit. It's making you feel whatever it is, but it's all a fake. It's all an illusion. It's all a scam just to keep you in the machine. The world, honestly, the longer I live and the more I observe and the farther out I can get and look objectively without any of my own personality going to that. It's a beautifully designed machine that stays perpetually alive by eating what's on the planet. Mm-hmm. And it's designed to do that. And it's designed to keep you enslaved. And if you look around at the way, the programming goes to all the crap you need and all the money you have to have and all this, and all of a sudden now you're enslaved inside this rat trap, running every day to try to maintain all this stuff. Why? And because now you no longer have any time, you don't go looking inside because you don't have any time. Oh man, it's killing me. Oh wow. And you're dead and you're tired and you have no energy. You're gonna go meditate. Well, dude. Are you?
Well, that's what I've been talking about for the last. That's what I think where I've been, and that's why I'm so grateful for this and our conversations, and being able to reflect on why you're getting so angry at me.
Well, no, I just want to push you because you're stuck, and I want you to be unstuck.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. It's great. This is all amazing, and I feel fearless. I feel like, okay, you know what? I'm about to go through some shadow work, but I'm not afraid. I'm not. When you were saying you were thinking about, maybe holding off, I'm like, no way. Let's do this shit. You know what I mean? Let's get through this. So
all good, except I'm tired as fuck, man. I gotta tell you.
Oh, me too, man.
I maybe slept 5 hours in the last 5 days. I'm really not exaggerating. It's like, wow, man. I've been running on adrenaline and love.
I want to just validate our own existence. Not that I need to. But
that's right.
I'm posting it in the comments here. So you'll see it if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube or wherever you're watching. I guess YouTube right now. But we had a comment about 3 weeks ago from Contemptuous Nerk. It says, "Hi, Michael and Brian. I was given my cards about 20 years ago, and I have recently decided to get more serious about them. The way you go about teaching tarot works for me." And he said, "Please keep going."
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's great to hear.
I think, isn't that amazing? Just like,
who is that? Is it just somebody that picked the journey as a thing?
His name is Contemptuous Nerk, and
awesome.
it says 3 weeks ago. So I don't know if he's out there watching live or he catches the replays, or it's a she or he, but whoever it is, we've made
or
some
all of the above.
All of the above.
Yeah.
We've made some connections, and it feels good. It to know that just this intention between you and I and Jill and J Lo and Trish and everybody who shows up. It's energy. It's this intentional energy that we are contributing to the universe, to the collective, to all of that.
So I want to make another comment about the shadow work that's super important.
Okay.
It's not to just go looking around for stuff that you find down there. It's that once you find the stuff down there, you do something about it. You don't just think about it and go, oh, now that's the reason I do all this stupid shit. No. And now that's your excuse to write in the excuse book. No, that's information to be able to use to formulate a strategy to change that into a function that is now serving you instead of eating you. So I think that's super, super critical to be able to develop an ability to look at yourself objectively. Like, you're looking at someone else. I mean, if you think about how many times you look at somebody you barely know and you're just getting to know them, and you look at them and it's so clear what you need to tell them. You need to blah, blah, blah. And it's like, wow, laid out there right in front of you. But when you go to do that for yourself,
well,
you're protecting your ego and you're filtering it to the way you want to look. And like, it's really hard to do that, but that's a skill you can work on.
It's a conversation that I have often with different people. I know a lot of people who are healers in this day and age, and a lot of people who want to be healers and feel like they're healers. But for me, I watch what they're doing, and on social media, they're trying to help people. Their intention is there, but I'm watching them, and I'm like, you're talking the stuff that you're saying. You're talking to yourself. You're giving messages out there about what you should be doing, because it's just obvious, right? And I'm guilty of that too. All of this stuff that I'm doing, I know what my shadow work is. I'm not even going to get into it, but I know what it is, and it's
not really pleasant, but really,
it's not pleasant, and it's something that I think I've known always, and I think that when you finally do face your shadow, and maybe this is not for everybody, maybe this is just my experience so far, and maybe I'm not there yet, but when you do, you're like, oh yeah, I knew that, you're like, I said that to myself a long time ago, what I mean? And that kind of thing. Or again, it's probably different for everybody. I'm just speaking on my experience and where I'm at now. And
it is different for everybody.
yeah. And I feel like I know the things I have to do, and you know what? Thankfully, I do feel like I'm doing them. I feel like, yes, I could do more, Brian, and I am, and I appreciate the encouragement. And you know what? That's why you and I are both here. We're both here because we decided we wanted to do a little bit more, and a
lot more.
And here we are doing it. You know what I mean? So let's at least give ourselves a little bit of a pat on the back.
Yeah. Now, I'm not going to give myself a pat on the back on the week of the devil, man. I'm going to keep all good, man. No, I'm the dumbest motherfucker you know. Honest to God, that's exactly what I believe. The more I learn, the more I realize I don't have a clue, man. Not a fucking clue. I know more about making it through this place, but this place is like, woo.
But and you know more about who you are and who you are supposed to be making it through this place,
And I've stripped away a lot of shit that wasn't me and attached to me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That and that's what I say all the time. Again, I'm more kind of more philosophically spiritual than magically spiritual, although I'm all of the above, you know what I mean? And I always feel like what was I going to say? I feel like you were saying it earlier. You realized you're using all of these parts of yourself that you collected over the years. You know what I mean? And I think that's the meaning of life. Like, everyone's like, what? Why are we here? And the answer to why are we here is you. And that is different for every single person.
Every single person.
You are here to be you. I am here to be me. And you're here to be the mystical shaman, you know what I mean, who is connected to magic and and all of this stuff. And I'm here to be the more philosophical guy who's like, happy to be here and encouraging everybody else to be their best self. And and listen, I'm only human, so I am grateful that I recognize when I'm being judgmental. I'm grateful that I recognize when my ego is stepping forward and I'm like living through ego or experiencing things through ego, and maybe I shouldn't. And I recognize when maybe I should be experiencing them through ego. You know what I mean? I think that's all a part of this, right?
That's true. Your ego doesn't suck. You need your ego. Your
Right.
ego's like there. Like getting rid of the ego, fuck you.
Right.
How about that?
Right.
Fuck
And you know what?
But your ego can't run you. And you
Right.
can't make decisions because of your ego.
Right.
Your ego can only keep your confidence and your ability to function in the world.
Right.
Outside of that, if you buy your own shtick, if you listen to that bastard and you like, oh yeah, I'm amazing. You think you're bigger than the game shows up so fast to show you that you are not.
Right.
That it's hard to forget those lessons.
Yeah.
Oh, ow! Oh, yeah, really hard to forget those lessons. God, dude.
Yeah, and you know what? I've also been kind of coming to terms with the whole thing. I think I told you, I mentioned I have a friend who just calls me the positive guy. Everything's always so positive, and I absolutely have been coming to terms. There's this kind of anti-positivity movement in the spiritual community now, where it's like you can't always be positive. You've got to embrace the negative. You've got to acknowledge the negative, and I agree with that. I mean, it's certainly great to choose to be positive and want to infuse positivity into whatever situation it is, but there's also room for the negative. It's there for a reason. It's part of the whole.
It's exactly right. That's why it's paid so hard for my pass into dark and light side, and I stay right in the middle because I want access to all of it. All of it.
Best you can. Julie says slam. I don't know what that means, but slam, Julie.
Yeah, baby. That's right. That's right, baby.
Awesome.
Let's see if I have any other silly shit. No, that's okay. Good. All right. So, anything you would like a little reading about, perchance? Or anyone out there that wants to throw me some really quick?
So if anyone wants the answers to a question or is looking for,
yeah, and if not, I've got one for myself. We can do. I'd love to.
Let's do it. Let's do it, man.
Yeah. The devil gives you choices, dude. Like, oh man, and I'm in the middle of a choice or a situation right now that I've already faced before. I'm back around in the spiral. And it's like, man, I feel like I'm walking the tightrope right at this moment, man. Be just super amazing or just monumentally awful. and it's like so like beautiful. I just want to take really
there you go. You
really
got
great care of it and like
totally.
Yeah.
It's interesting the live stream of consciousness. When I started with Jesse Blaze, I was using one of his songs. He's got a song called Money and Power, and there's a speaking line right at the beginning. It says, it's a saying. It says, the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing people he didn't exist. Right?
Well, the next best one is convincing them that it's outside of you. That it's something else that's going to come outside and attack you.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
No, it's inside
that's
you.
you know what? That's so insightful to just realize that it's inside of you and it's a part of you and love it just like you love the rest of you.
Coming to peace with it, resolving it, because it's there doesn't mean you have to access it. Because it's there doesn't mean you have to be an addict. Because it's there doesn't mean you have to blow up your life and give your soul over to the fucking world and it's bullshit that wants to keep you for itself. No. That's the other thing at the end of that. It's about the rat trap and the perfection of that machine, but there is an out. And that's the thing that like the people seeking enlightenment and evolution. That's the saving grace, because you are allowed to see that it's bullshit, and you're allowed to see that there are ways of elevating up out of the goo and the super glue that keeps you mired here and in illusion. And you can elevate your frequency if you work and go after it and be able to stick your head up out of it and see there's something else there and move on to something else instead of being stuck and prisoner.
Absolutely. Jilly actually is requesting that you talk about the rune for the devil card. So
well, yeah. That's referred to as thorn in a lot of rune books, and that in the old rune poems, that's refers to the ice giants, and thorn is also, it's kind of like the thorns on a rose that protect it.
this symbol right here,
the one on the very bottom left corner.
Yeah, with the line and the little triangle.
Yeah, exactly. And it looks like a thorn on a rose, right? And that rune is about when the ice giants would rain hail on the crops and crush all their stuff, and how they would have to just come back from that, and not be conquered by that. And it's sort of the same scenario. The Vikings and the people that lived where the Germanic people were, where the runes were developed, had a pretty harsh nature scenario to live in. Just getting a whole season where their crops could grow.
Yeah.
Pretty miraculous. I guess that's why they were always sacrificed.
Interesting. It's interesting you're talking about the ice giants and the Vikings, because I don't really sit and veg a lot and watch stuff, right? But I don't know. I just was I had to disconnect, and I watched this movie. It's from the Netherlands, and it's called Troll.
I've seen that. Yeah,
you've seen it, and it was really interesting about ancient legends and how hey man, what happens if an ancient legend happens in a modern day? You know what I mean? It's kind of interesting. I thought that was really kind of cool.
Oh, by the way, the puzzle has been rolled up and retired.
I see that. I was going to ask you what happened with the puzzle. You were like, all right, I'm getting too deep. I'm getting a little too crazy with it.
It's kind of like if you stare at something long enough, you lose the ability to see it. And I stared at it way too long, and my eyes were burned in the sun. And now I need to go back and just take a deep breath, and go get some more learning. I'm looking, what happened this weekend with the banishing ritual, the 2 days of reading, and that whole festival experience. And I was actually, in a really short period of time, able to crack some people open and make some super
awesome.
intense progress with stuff. And then last night I wound up going to Montsert, the crazy wine bar here, man, where the cool people in town go and hang out, and then went to the burlesque show, and I'm gonna give them a little prop here. Let's see here. No, see, she's gonna be mad at me now. Yeah, here we go. So this is about, they do a really cool thing in that they promote they do a big fundraiser every year for the local animal shelter. Last year they got a ton of animals placed and raised about $12,000. So I'll post this. It's called Sebring Angels Rescue, Foster, Adopt, and really worthwhile scenario to do. So I got home really super late after that last night, man. It was just kind of all right. Spent.
Dude, I'm just so happy that you are really finding your tribe and finding
it's great.
Just a lot of purpose. Not that there was no purpose before, but purpose that feels right to you, that sounds right to you, that just everything you say, it's well, that's exactly where Brian should be.
It's the first place I've ever really felt home.
That's great, man. That's
where I was living, I knew was I mean, this place is temporary, but
no, and I know what you mean. I certainly feel like I'm not home, and I feel like I'll know when I am, and it's mostly been tropical environments, but we'll see what happens there. Jilly B is saying, what? I don't think, you know what? If you've rolled that thing up, you should send it to Jilly B. She'll continue the puzzle for us.
No. What is that? What she's talking about? The puzzle?
Yeah. She was talking about the puzzle. She was like, "What do you mean? What do you mean it's shut down? What do you mean?" She was
No,
really,
it's not shut
she
down.
was
It's just
really
taking
into
a break to like take. And I got these okay, there was a ton of like water damage to my roof. So like I've had 5 like turbo fans blowing up into the ceiling. They came in today and knocked big holes up in the ceiling, and they were knocking my pages off. So
all good. So we've tabled the puzzle. It's all good. It's all good.
It's just taking a breather.
She says,
chill out, Jilly. Yeah. All right.
Awesome.
All right. I'm gonna do. We still have a few minutes. I'm gonna do a reading for next week's show.
Okay. You want me to bring up the table? You're gonna put it on the table?
Certainly. Yes.
So bring up the table. There we go. I love that table. Is that a compass right in the middle of the table?
That is a feng shui compass. The whole thing is
beautiful. That whole thing looks like almost like your decoder rings there.
Oh, yeah. Wow. The Tower. That's next week's show. Okay.
That's so funny. You're like, I'm going to do a reading for next week's show. And there it is.
Oh, man.
There it is, Brian. You're just
we're actually
too magical.
We're actually living it, dude. It's just nuts. Craziest thing I've ever experienced. And I've experienced some crazy shit.
Yeah, man. Me too. But it's all good. I'm excited. The future is so bright. I gotta wear shades.
All right. So the energy about this. There's the Tower. That's what the next week's show is about. So, we're in this spot where it's the 3 of Pentacles. That's about where you've been recognized for your abilities and your mastery of your craft, and you start getting paid really well. So that'd be all great. This is the Priestess, and that we all know the Priestess is the guardian of the veils and also the secrets of the tarot and all clairvoyance. This is the 10 of Wands, which is about oppression and having difficulty pushed against you, with certainly has been the recent past for me. Let's see. I've got this like turned really long.
Yeah, you gotta turn your camera sideways, or turn the cards. There you go. There you go.
Wow, I thought I had more room. Okay, here, let's do this. Okay. So the 10 of Wands, which is about oppression and things pushing against you, where it is right now is the Lovers, and that's 2 people at the beginning of an amazing relationship and connecting up in really great ways, and those people looking at that and trying to figure out how that can happen or whether they want that to happen or not. So then the last card in that is and this is the water column, so that's emotions. This is the 10 of Cups, which is a water card, and the greatest, it's the most intense emotional satisfaction card in the deck. It's like lasting and abundant and abiding, like just momentary, like goodness. It's like, wow, you get really happy and you get to fucking stay that way. Woohoo! Okay, this way. There we go.
Oh, there you go.
There we go. Okay. I've lost my voice so many times over the last few days because I've been talking nonstop. All right, so this is the lust card, and that's the card you pulled earlier, and that's about like the raw primal energy and the passion to do something. It's not just the desire, but it's the actual energy, the burning fire to make that happen. And then this is the present moment, the Chariot, which is absolute victory and a single-minded focus on making something happen. This is the Six of Pentacles, which is about success and achieving a gift of money from somebody who has the ability to pass that on to you. And that could be magic, that could be actual money, that could be a lot of things, but it's somebody that has something to spare that they won't miss, that they'll happily give to you. And then the last column is the Seven of Wands, which is about a coming or a fight. In this case, it's the immediate past. Here, let's move this down here. It's immediate past. So that was about facing an opposition, a force of opposition. But in this particular instance, the person that has the single wand, which represents you, has the higher ground and still has some measure of advantage on that. So the outcome is pretty assured, although he's going to get some bruises and kicked around a little bit. Then this is the Four of Pentacles, and this is about stable money. This is after you've made the money, you want to put it away and save it. But the kind of catch-22 on this is that if you put it away and you don't spend it, you don't circulate it, doesn't have life, it just stagnates and goes away, and no more starts coming in. And it needs to have flow and get used for being able to create more, and that it becomes part of the cycle. And then the last card is the Eon, which represents like where it's the last card right before the universe. And in the Rider-Waite deck, that was the card where the angels blowing the trumpet over the cemetery, and all the souls are coming up out of the graves, and it represents all the dead, buried shit in your past that now no longer has sway over you.
Awesome.
And is gone, right? So in reference to next week's show, we're going to be doing the Tower. We'll be in the middle of really having some good things happening. There's a ton of really good opportunities that haven't started generating stuff yet, but there's lots of ideas and inspiration. We're also coming up on the solstice. Woo! My best day, most inspirational day of the year. Also the birthday of the tarot deck itself. So we'll be celebrating.
Is that December 21st?
December 21st, yeah, and I'll be doing a massive solstice ceremony down at Leah's place. And
awesome.
Yeah, it'll be super cool. So there has been a lot of opposition in recent past, but there's all kinds of new connections and a couple of really special connections, and all of those have been amazingly emotionally rich and satisfying, and look to be more of that to come. So then what's being thought about that is the passion for that, that's kind of more an emotional thing, but it's still like the raw energy and the passion to drive it. And the Chariot is like the single-minded focus. So what this is saying is next week we'll just try to be singularly focused on the Tower, and we're going to go ahead and do it, man. Fuck it.
Awesome.
I'm not going to bag, man. Fuck it.
I love it.
We're going to ride right through it, and we're going to go into it. That was a great thing about approaching this card is we did that massive banishing just on Thursday, and I'm like, woo, all sparkly. Banishing fear, Okay.
Yeah.
So then the last card is the Eon. Hang on. This is also about contacting your holy guardian angel, your ally, your higher self that's operating on bands higher than we are operating on right now. And this is a really amazing, awesome card. And the goal of every actual working magician that can actually do stuff. Everyone is connected to that part of themselves. So it should be a really good show. And we'll go on into it without any trepidation. And we will be the lightning. How about that?
Awesome. I love it.
So if you want somebody zapped, no, I'm just kidding. No, just kidding.
Oh man, Brian, I got to tell you, this is always an amazing adventure. The Fool's Journey.
The Fool's Journey, man. Yeah.
We're always here. We always show up, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate you, and what this means. That was a really good reading. I'm actually excited for next week. So,
Yeah, me too. I feel much
yeah.
better about it, man.
Yeah,
And
good.
just a lot of good roles going on. So, the death card and the repercussions out of that. The guy across the hall from me died. Really good friend, and then
Right.
that same day, the guy, another good friend living right next door to me,
Right.
has a stroke and goes into this in the hospital. It was crazy, man. I'm glad that we sailed through that one. Yeah. So solstice thing coming up, and then we'll be getting towards the holidays and Christmas.
Yeah.
My friend Brandon is coming up on the 26th of December. He's the guy that did all these videos with me. He's the weird
Awesome.
guy with the glasses all the
Nice.
time that looks all
Awesome.
fucked up. Yeah, so I'm
Exciting.
so excited about getting to create with him and share this place with him, man.
That's
Really
cool, man.
fun.
That's cool. Yeah, once we get into the new year, I want to get Brian Orlando on the show. He was I had to move him this week from the live stream because it's the holidays, but his rock and soul tarot show is pretty interesting. I started watching listening to it. He does an audio podcast, and he's doing a similar thing. He's going through the cards, but he really, everybody's got their own thing, and he's a musician, so he
told me about that.
he relates songs and music to the whole experience, which is, it's a really cool take. I really love it. Jilly B's out there giving us some love. So awesome. Love you guys. We love you too, Jilly. Thank you for always being here.
So happy for the core group, man.
Yeah.
Show up every freaking week.
Totally.
And I'd love to hear, if you guys have been experiencing stuff that mirrors your own personal experience of what's happening with the cards and my similar fool's journey. If you guys are experiencing that too, please share that. I would love
comment
to see
below.
Yeah, bring that in next week. Yeah, absolutely.
Comment, reach out to us, whatever it might be.
Yeah, please subscribe and share.
Yeah, man.
and tell somebody to buy a deck for Christmas, please.
There you go. All right. We'll see you guys next week. Good to see you. We love you. Peace.